Well, thank you all for coming. Everybody was commenting on what a turnout we had for such a cold night and competition of a football game. So we want to get started on time. We can end on time and get everybody home as soon as we can. We'll get you home before it gets cold. So. Yeah, that's right. Well, tonight we have two presentations from two groups that we thought we need to take a closer look at to help we as a community work on our long-range planning. And tonight we're going to begin with Cambridge Strategic Services. They're out of Plano, Texas. For over 30 years, Cambridge has been a leading provider of strategic planning for American schools. Historically, they've had two sides of their practice, facilitating strategic thinking and planning in action in order to create strategic context so that all resources and energy can be dedicated to an organization's strategic intent, and teaching graduate courses on on strategies and planning. Tonight we have a senior associate from Cambridge with us, George Szymanski. Sorry, George. He's a senior associate with Cambridge. He's conducted training nationally for a wide variety of educational organizations. He's been with Cambridge since 1989. He began in education in 1969 and has served at many different levels and retired as a superintendent of schools, but has been doing this for a number of years. And we're very proud to have a outstanding, known nationwide as an outstanding company in strategic planning. So with that, George, we'll turn over to you.
It's always a pleasure to talk about strategic planning. My whole career has been based around strategic planning. Every job that I had after my first teaching job, I was invited to apply to the next position because of this knowledge of strategic planning. I met the president of Cambridge, Dr. William Cook Jr. I met him in 1985, and in 1989 I became one of his associates and started to facilitate nationally and do conduct training nationally.
We're going to have you use this.
Thank you. If we look at Cambridge, there's some of the background that we have up there. We've facilitated plans in over 1,100 school districts. We conducted training, and we've trained over 7,000 individuals to become internal facilitators. When they go through our one-week program, they can go back to their school district and actually facilitate their own strategic plan. Okay? We offer 5 training courses that get graduate credit through a university. We've also, our founder has published several books on text on planning, and we're recognized as the premier facilitators of strategic planning for schools. We've been facilitating plans since the mid-'80s. I've been with Cambridge since 1989. Okay. This is our commitment about planning. Okay. First of all, we want to make sure that everything is centered on the best interests of students. Okay. So we spend a lot of time usually with the board before we go into a planning session and talk about that. We're trying to see, are there sacred cows, are there turf issues, what's around, because we want to focus on the best interests of students. Second, we make sure that there's the full involvement of everyone. We want everyone in the school district. We'd like everyone in the community to be a participant in this. There are several ways that you can participate at different levels depending on how much time you want to commit. So we work with people to do that. We work by building agreement. So all the direction that we do, when we identify strategies and everything, they all come out of agreement. Next, we emphasize measurable, demonstrable results. Okay? Whenever we're done, we want to make sure that there are measures for everything that we've said that we're going to be doing in the school district, and we look at them and try to decide how we're going to do that. The nice part about this is once you go through the process and we have a set of action plans, they are immediately implementable. So it's not like, okay, we get done with this planning and now we've planned a plan to plan, and then next year then we'll go through another committee to develop a plan. Okay, we don't do that. We make sure that we have concrete action plans so that as soon as we're done with this process, which normally will take us about 6 to 9 months. Okay? At that point, these plans are immediately implementable. We can assign them to individuals within the school district to implement. And last is that we do honor all the previous and current plans and planning activities. You do have a history of planning. I mean, I've checked out everything on your website. I've seen your goals and your vision and your mission and everything you have. So, I mean, I would congratulate you on that because, you know, you are far ahead of a lot of other people just with the planning that you already do. Okay? This process would probably take that to just a little bit different level. Okay? And that's what we'd be looking to do with you. This is a definition we use for strategic planning. It might seem a little academic, but there's 2 words up there that are really important to me that I like to stress. I look at the word continuously and the word extraordinary. Okay? When we talk about continuously, I like to make sure that people understand that when we talk about this process, it's not just a one-shot deal. It's not an event. Okay? What this becomes is, it's like a way of life. It becomes your style of leading. How is it that you would like to lead? And this process is based upon leading, the principles and the traits of leaders. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. So everything here, the decision to do this process is a decision about a style of leading. And second, this thing on extraordinary purpose. You know, I was flying a couple weeks ago, and I picked up a Fortune magazine. And inside there was an ad for the new Infinity, the EX. Okay? And when I looked at the page, I couldn't believe it because I stress this word extraordinary, I see it everywhere. You know, it's one of those things like when you're driving a car, nobody has that car till you buy it, and then you see it everywhere, the same color and everything. Well, I see EX, extraordinary, everywhere. And a couple weeks ago when I saw this, it said this. It's the Infinity EX, and it said, ordinary. It makes you feel at home. Extraordinary. And in their ad, they highlighted the EX, okay? Extraordinary. It takes you to a faraway place. And that's really what we stress here, okay? When we start thinking about this, and when we have a planning team, and we look at extraordinary purpose, we don't talk about just day-to-day stuff, okay? We want to move the school district farther. We want to take it to a new level, and that's what this is all about. Some of the assumptions we have about planning is that people can prepare the future for themselves, that the people actually have ultimate control. We can make things happen, okay? We don't have to take and absorb circumstances. We're not reactionary all the time. I always tell people I would much rather be a facilitator than a fireman. I don't like putting out fires all day long as a superintendent. You know, I like to be leading. I like to be the guy with the stick and go out poking people and making them do things, okay, and work with them that way. So up here, strategic planning says, let's look at the past. Let's go back 5 years, see what's been happening here. If it's similar to what's happening now. I've been the superintendent in 3 school districts, and my districts were very, very fast-growing school districts. So history didn't help a lot, okay, because we had to have different consultants help us decide with all the new housing plans that we're building, and Arnie Palmer built a 27-hole golf course in our community, and so everything was jumping. So history doesn't help a lot at that point because you're jumping by leaps and bounds. But if you have a line, a projection, okay? If history is similar in nature to where you are today, you can look back 5 years and decide what's been happening over 5 years. The second thing is, we decide what is our preferred future. What would you like this school district to be 5, 6 years from now? Okay? And once you decide, and we work with you to decide, okay, what would this school district be 5 years from now for the ideal? Then we turn around and we decide the present. So what do we have to do today to get us there? That's different than a lot of other planning.